It is a football contest show here on VSiN. Matt Brown, Mike Somich, and we have the pleasure of being joined by one of the 10 remaining circus survivors, $9.267 million up for grabs. Kenny Davidson, you can find his entry at Bow Tie Cabaret if you want to follow along. Kenny, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
Man, this is 1 to 10 stress level. Where are you at right now?
11.
Okay, yeah.
Like Spinal Tap?
I was going to say
11.
I was going to say, if you said anything less than a 9, I was going to say, like, man, you trust fund or something? Like, what's going on here?
That's probably 11's probably too low. We're 20, 30 at this point. So,
well, let's get in before we get into the talk of the contest and all things. Bow Tie Cabaret, you're here with a bow tie on. You got the Bow Tie Cabaret name. Where did that all come from? What's going on with that?
I have a show at the Tuscany Suites and Casino every Friday night. It's called the Bow Tie Cabaret. We go from 9 o'clock to 1 a.m. We feature one guest singer. He's usually a featured singer from town that's usually on the Strip doing a show, and then they come over and then they do our show. We also get a bunch of other singers from the Strip to come and sing and from all around town. And it's just been a show we've had for 10 years. I've won Best of Las Vegas 7 straight years now.
So what you're saying is people should come check it out.
They should, every Friday night.
Over at the Tuscany, so be sure. If you come in Vegas, man, it's just right over there. It's not a far trip at all. Head over to the Tuscany, and you can see the show. And one more before I let Mike jump in here. Have you been a regular contest player? Have you played these types of contests before?
We played a year ago. So I say we because I have 2 partners, my friend Scott Frankel and my friend Forrest Ryan. And we played last year, and we got knocked out in week 2 by Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. Yay.
Yeah, that sounds about right for contests. Now, a quick question for you, Kenny. How many entries did you and your partners get in? I love hearing the stories of it. Is it 10? Is it 1? Did you guys decide on a different number? And were there any close calls to get you to this point?
1. We have 1 entry. I'm a musician, man. You know, I'm a 1 entry kind of guy here. So 1 entry. We were really smooth up until week 14. And then week 14, we have 3 people in our group, and we disagreed. And 2 of us wanted the Ravens, and 1 wanted the Packers against the Giants. He's a big Giant fan. He says, there's no way the Giants are beating the Packers. And I was like, no, we're not taking road teams. We're taking a home team. So we went with the Ravens, and obviously that was a sweat.
Yeah.
And then last week, I kind of wanted the Packers, and my 2 partners wanted the Bengals. So we went with the Bengals. And that was a huge sweat. We were down 14 points. We had not trailed by 14 points. We didn't come close to trailing like that. I don't think we trailed by 7. I think that's the worst we've trailed all contest. We've had really no sweats at all until the last 2. Now that was pretty bad. So
as Derek mentioned, if you guys caught a little bit earlier, but to refresh you if you're just joining us, Bow Tie Cabaret is on the Broncos this week. So that's who we will be rooting for here with Kenny. But let's say, should you advance? And let's not say should. When you advance, all right? When you advance, we know it's a quick turnaround on Christmas Day. It's one of the quirks here of the contest at Circa. Who will you guys be going with then?
We will be going with the Eagles because we're not going to go with the Giants.
Yes. So that is your way of saying no Chiefs available, no 49ers available. And even if they were, you'd probably go with the Eagles anyway.
I mean, we could go with the Raiders, but
not going to go that direction either. Mike, what you thinking over there?
Now, you mentioned the last couple weeks it's been a split vote. Was this week a split vote, or did everyone agree on the Broncos?
No, we agreed completely. We knew well in advance we had this in our pocket, so this was an easy one for us. It was nice. It's nice when we're all on the same page. You know, and it's also 3 people's perfect because that third person can break a tie.
Yes.
You put 4 people in, now all of a sudden it's deadlocked. You put 5 people in, it's too many chefs in the kitchen. It's like 3's perfect.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you said you guys kind of were smooth along the way. You get to whatever, you know where you're at this week. You know where you will be should you get to Christmas Day. Do you have the last couple of weeks planned out? Do you know where you are at least looking to go? We know injuries and all the things can change the way you're thinking, but do you at least have honed in where you'd like to go?
Week 17, we absolutely do. We think we have a really solid pick in week 17. Just have to make sure that something weird like last year doesn't happen where the Titans play the Jaguars in week 7. No, the Titans and Jaguars were playing in week 18 last year, and they knew that was going to be for the division title. Yeah. So in week 17, the Titans sat Derrick Henry.
Right.
So we got to making sure that nothing strange like that happens. We have a really good pick in week 17. Week 18, we have ideas.
Good problem to have anyway, because exactly.
Let's
good
just
problem
get
to
there.
have. Yeah, exactly.
Now we just had Jeff and Derek in studio, and they talked about the opportunity to get credit off your entry and to be able to hedge your bets. Have you guys started to go down that road and bet against yourselves in any of these weeks? Or are you still just in the $1,000 and seeing where this takes you?
I think we're about to. I think this is the week to start doing it with the, 4 games left. I guess what you do, you make one bet, and then if it goes well and you don't win, then you double it the next week, and then you double it again. I think this might be the week we start doing that.
Yeah, we know there was a bunch of chop talk that was going around, and I don't know if you guys were involved in all that. You can kind of reveal as much or as little as you want to, but were you, I'm assuming you were at least approached, and were you in favor of a chop? Were you not in favor of a chop? How did that work out?
We were approached. We were in favor of a chop. 12 of us were in favor of a chop almost immediately, and then we had the one holdout, and that was the end of that.
Yeah.
And, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's just a play. That's how it is.
Now you're alive this deep in Survivor. Did you guys play Circa Millions at all, or is this just a crew that's playing Circa Survivor?
Scott and I are playing Circa Millions with 2 other people, and that is not going nearly as well.
Are you a big sports bettor as it is anyway? Like how did you get involved with these contests?
I am a big fantasy football
Okay.
guy. I am in 84 leagues. That is not that's the correct number.
Currently.
84. Currently in 84 leagues. I am the commissioner of 54 of those leagues.
How many did you make the playoffs in?
I made the playoffs in 40, I think 40, but I'm in 25 semifinals right now. And I have Puka Nakua in about 15 of them, so it's off to a good start. I do not have T. Higgins, and boy, did he have a day.
Yes, he did.
But so I'm a big fantasy guy, and I play a lot of fantasy contests, and I have my own leagues and all that stuff. So this kind of came up, when the casino opened a few years ago.
Yeah.
And, I love survivor pools. I've never been any good at them. I never got past week 6 in any survivor pool ever, even like my $30 one. So to get this far is insane.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like, look, there is people hear you say that, but there is translation from the fantasy sports world over into sports betting. Some of the better sports bettors I know are big time, either DFS players or fantasy sports players and things like that. And so it is, I can only assume you, with all of the fantasy that you play, feel like that you have a pretty decent idea of the game of football and how that would translate to the sports betting.
Oh, it definitely helps. It absolutely helps. I think one of the factors with not going with the Packers against the Giants was the fact that Jordan Love, his success is really tied to Christian Watson.
Yeah.
And we know that from fantasy. And Christian Watson wasn't playing. He's not playing this week either. So I think they're a little risky this week too. And it's funny because I wanted them last week, but that was more because I just didn't think Baker Mayfield could win in Lambeau. And boy, was I wrong. But thank goodness for that.
Now, have you guys created a tradition or any type of superstition around where you're watching the games? You watching them together? You at a specific casino? How are you now consuming these final games as you come down to the wire at Survivor?
Well, we usually watch Red Zone at home in our separate houses, but I think tomorrow night we're coming here because the Broncos and Patriots are the isolated night game tomorrow night, so we'll be here tomorrow night, and we'll probably be here Monday too. Yeah,
that is just to recap for everybody out there, just in case they weren't here earlier. So 6 different entries are going to be on the Broncos this week. 2 are on the Bears. Packers have 1. Rams already in the house. So we do have 1 that is already home on the Rams. Now, let's peel back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you root heavily against the entries that are against you? Come on. You can say it. You can say it.
We got to win first.
Okay.
I mean, like if we win,
that's a very diplomatic answer.
If we win, then we'll see. But we got to win. And praying that Bailey Zappi throws 3 interceptions tomorrow night.
Visit VSiN.com to get current odds, listen for free, find showtimes, and download VSiN sports betting podcasts.